When it comes to a relationship, we tend to project ourselves onto the other person and feel like whatever the other person is doing reflects on us in various ways. We do this with everyone. We project our own internal motivations onto other people, our own expectations and our judgments and our criticisms of ourselves onto them. And we do this especially, obviously, in relationships. But, interestingly, these different variants, these different inclinations, will determine where we are most inclined to project ourselves. Do we project ourselves onto that one other person we're intensely connected with? Do we project ourselves on, when I say one other person, I mean any close friends, relationship, whatever. But then there's also the group, when people who have the social inclination as their dominant, then they end up projecting themselves onto the group. That's their inclination. And so they expect the same things of the group that they would expect of themselves, and so on, judgments and so on. And then when it comes to self-preservation, there's very much the projection onto the family. And so the expectations and judgments and criticisms are really focused on close family members, and so that's the focus of that projection. Natural human nature is on these variants affect that. But when it comes to a relationship, we tend to expect of other people what we would expect of ourselves. And so obviously it gives even more reason to want someone who has some overlapping compatibility with us when it comes to interests and values and where we want to spend our time and so on, because then our expectations of them which have to do with expectations of ourselves, which are related to expectations of ourselves, are more likely to be met. When you go and you approach someone, you're looking to see, is this person interested in me? Okay? Well, then, again, when it comes to the eyes, well, you're going to see their eyes dilated, because if they're attracted to you, then their eyes will be dilated. So it has to do with the release of different hormones in the body and so on. Just like the eyes looking different directions actually has to do with the different hemispheres of the brain and their roles in remembering and creating. And when it comes to the type of gaze, it has to do with an aspect of personality that has to do with showing you where their attention is focused. So then when it comes to emotions, you'll see, so obviously if someone's lying to you, they're not going to be looking into your eyes, so you can see that. If they're happy, then if they're genuinely happy and they're not just smiling, if they're genuinely happy, you see the crow's feet on the sides of their eyes. And if they're, obviously if they're surprised, then you see their eyes are wider and their eyebrows are raised. And if they're expressing fear, then there's a similar eyebrows raised, but not as much eyes widened. And anger, and if they're really angry, then their eyebrows are slanted down, and like the eyes show that there's an aspect of the intensity of the anger if their anger is focused on something. So you can see all these things just from their eyes. You see their emotions. You see whether they're remembering or creating an image or a sound, or they're checking with the way they feel, or whether they are focused on just you, or whether they want to talk to someone else, or whether they want to take care of themselves in that moment. And so you can learn a lot about people from their eyes, and that's just a few things, and I'm sure there are plenty more, but I'm not going to be talking about more right now. So anyway, if you want to find out more about anything that you heard here, then you're welcome to check out my books. There's plenty more information on these things in them. And so, yeah, pay attention to people's eyes. And you'll learn a lot about what's going on in their internal experience. Have a good day.